Hello again. We're back with the 10th episode of Fargo, Season 4, Happy. Another sort of really, really disturbing case of who the fuck structured this season. What do you think about what happened in this episode?
I thought it was really boring. That's kind of the main thing where with most TV shows, the penultimate episode, the episode before the last one.
It's usually where most stuff happens.
Yeah, most of the stuff happens in that episode. Now, obviously, this is a standalone season, so they can do things differently, but it's just really weird that I was just bored. It was tedious. This season really is bad. Like it now with this last episode. I mean, I didn't like this season, but even though I didn't like season 3, season 3 is definitely way better than this. Like,
we're once again introducing characters and plot
right.
points that probably would have been well suited about 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes ago.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that when we're getting to meet a new character, I'm like, wait, we're meeting another new character, and on episode 10.
Who proceeds to instigate a double cross, which, I mean, he kind of came out of nowhere. So did the double cross. So should I care?
Right. Yeah, his name is like Lionel Holloway or something.
Lionel Happy Holloway.
Yeah, Lionel Happy Holiday. And it's like, why is the episode called Happy? He's like not even in it that much. You know?
2 minutes
It's like,
tops.
right.
It begins with perhaps the most infuriating of everything to happen this season. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Willie Dixon as much as the next man, but we finally get a ton of shooting and action, and wouldn't you guess it, montage.
Right, yeah, that's I just started laughing as soon as the episode started, and I was like, oh wow, all of the action is gonna be in this like 1 minute montage of them being at war. Just the laziest possible thing you could do.
I'm not surprised, frankly.
Well, I said last episode, expect everything to be unsatisfying. Boy, did that come true.
You hit that nail right on the head, my man. All right, so I guess we should get into some of what really infuriated me. So it turns out that the Smutney family has a curse on it, which hasn't really been discussed until now. And it turns out that the zombie man is a murdered slaver.
Yeah, he's a ship captain who was, and I was a little confused on this because does she say that it was their great grandfather? Is that what it was, or was it just the great grandfather?
Okay, they first said your grandfather told me this story, or your grandmother told me this story, but it was your great grandfather.
That doesn't make any sense because this is 1950. So slavery in our country, talking like the Civil War era, talking like the 1800s. I mean, I don't know.
Well, let's just say at the latest possible time, 1860. 1950, the mother, let's say she's 40. Conservatively, your grandmother would be 60. Her father would have been what? Let's just say 80.
Yeah, maybe it does work because slavery in the U.S., I think, lasted 160 years or something. So.
But at the same time, I could be speaking out of my ass, but didn't they like put a stop on importing enslaved Africans, and it just basically became, all right, everybody who's here is still up for sale?
Yeah, you might be right on that. What did you feel about the whole ghost thing and their explanation of it? Because it's like, when I heard that, I was like, okay, well, how does that connect to the Native American? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Maybe it's like she's more spiritual. She's more in tune with, that old trope.
Right, yeah, with Native Americans and spirit journeys and all that, yeah. I don't know. It just seemed like, okay, now we're going to explain this. It just, I don't know. I thought maybe there's going to be more payoff in the last episode for this whole zombie shit, but
this is as good as we're going to get, I'd imagine.
You think they're going to end it here with the zombie? You think that was it?
Well, no, because we have another scene later where somebody who isn't native and isn't part of this family gets spooked, so to speak.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, the logic and rules regarding the spirit are all over the place. Is he death,
Yeah,
or is he just here to torment the family?
right, because we've never seen him actually harm anybody, and they're saying you can smell him. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it would have been better if they just didn't even explain it. It was
Or
just
if they
left there.
did earlier. Because, I mean, it's a nice little interesting
Yeah,
story, but we're well past the point of caring. I'm already at the point of just fucking end. Kill Chris Rock already.
right. Yeah, we're in the wrapping up phase. We shouldn't be trying to explain a whole bunch of stuff at this point. We should already know it.
That was my first thought, was the family's cursed? Why, did I just miss something, or did they not establish it earlier?
It's just strange. It's like, okay, he was what was her great great grandfather or whatever was choking the captain with a mouthful of seawater. The guy cursed him. Like I don't know. It's very weird.
We have a reunion with Satchel where he sounds like he might have autism or something.
Well, when he's on the road.
No, boy, this is my
Oh
world. I'm the boss.
yeah, that was so weird because it's like in the last episode, I was like, wow, I really like Satchel. It was a good ending for his character. And you were right. They're going to continue with Satchel. And that scene is just when he's threatening them with the gun. I'm like, this doesn't work.
The kid, he works sort of as a sympathetic, I don't want to say snoveling, but, kind of meek kid. With him trying to
Right.
sort of come into his own, he just, like I said, comes off like he's on the spectrum or something.
It definitely didn't work. That's for sure.
Another question I have in the show. So they can throw around 2 or 3 fucks every episode, but
Right.
the N word is off limits?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You have that super awkward scene where the nurse is going to say the N word. She's like, oh, yeah, they got a word for you. And it's like, wait, what? I don't know. Maybe Noah Hawley just said, no, I don't feel comfortable.
I guess so, but they do say the word retard in the same episode, so if he's that level of, and, not being historically accurate, then why drop the
Right.
R-bomb later?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't have the answers for it.
Don't get me wrong, I'm no fan of racial epithets, but if you want to really portray how it was, you kind of have to drop that word in front of her.
Right. And they got loads of racial epithets for all the Italians and everything like that. Everyone's saying all this.
Where's all those Columbus statue
Finocchio.
when you need them? What was in Orietta's head? Just based on this is how the scene is written. How did she think that was going to go? She's just going to go over, demand a ring, and Ethelrita's just going to give it to her?
Yeah, I was so confused by that scene with the nurse. Like it was like this is so just like uncalculated of her. It's just so impulsive in the broad daylight to just go over there and you need to go over to my apartment and all this. And it's like,
With a gang leader's son standing right next to her.
I mean, her whole arc in this episode is so poorly just put together. It felt really rushed. I'm wondering because I had heard with Noah Hawley that they had to do reshoots and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole episode felt like reshoots to me. It felt like they're trying to end the series. Maybe things weren't written out 100%.
I could see that.
Yeah, it just feels really awkward.
Another thing is, I mean, she was racist in the first episode. She said some sort of disparaging things, but it was of the time. It wasn't really too grossly offensive.
It was just casual racism. Yeah.
That's right. This episode, she immediately turns into the Grand Imperial Dragon in seconds. We should have had more of that. If that's her character, give us more of that throughout the season. Maybe she refuses to help a black person who, like, I don't know, gets into a car accident out on the street. Something.
I mean, these characters, honestly, even though we've had a long season and the episodes have been long, there's not really as much character development as you'd think. There's a lot of very nothing scenes.
OCD cops scene, case in point.
His whole arc just pissed me off because I kept thinking about Daffy because it's like, okay, you killed Daffy. So I'm assuming, okay, you're going to really have something impactful with OCD cop. This has to be worth it, right?
Well, yeah.
Have some big
Chris
payoff.
Rock is going to have, you're going to be a part of his crew now, and he's going to be watching out for you. No, I'm just going to raid both of them and hope nobody comes to kill me.
Yeah. He has no protection or anything, and I guess it can't even be shocked. Really. It's just like, yeah, okay.
I hated his last scene because, all right, we've established he's an OCD freak. He loves his ex-fiancée, can't get over it. I couldn't tell, did they do something to the picture or portrait of her? Because he kept staring at it.
Yeah, they like burned her eyes out with like a cigarette or something.
Okay. So they destroyed all his ex-fiancee's Hummels. He's all pissed off. The way I would have done that scene is at least have him kill one person. Don't have him just drop his gun like a little bitch.
It was just so ridiculous.
Undone by obsessive compulsive disorder.
And then he just kind of accepts that he's going to die. And as Gaetano is walking towards him, slow motion and everything, I'm like, oh, okay, what are they going to do here? Is Gaetano going to get hit by a car all of a sudden?
Oh, something much, much worse.
I just assumed, I don't know how you felt during that scene, but I'm like, oh, okay, there's no way OCD cop dies right here. So they're not going to do that.
He's really the last character that I haven't had any sort of investment in. I figure, all right, maybe he clips Gaetano and runs away, or maybe he has a second gun and is able to hit one or both of them. But no, we see a little flashback with him and his ex-fiancée singing to him, "Oh, I get to be with her again."
He just gets shot, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's it, huh? What's the point of Duffy or even his character in this whole entire season? Like, if this is the way you're going to end it, why were they even in the show? Honestly, when you really look at it, like,
they both failed to accomplish anything.
Well, also, I mean, when you look at the grand scheme of the plot, like, they really didn't do anything. It was just pointless. If this is the way you're going to end it, Duffy dies by menacing look on his face, and then the OCD cop dies with a smile. It's just like, what are you saying here? What is
comedy
the point of
is tragedy?
Maybe that is it.
We had some parallels between Gaetano and Satchel.
I'm not seeing.
Gaetano tells Giusto a story about why he was sent to Italy
and
what happened when he was in Italy. His mentor, his ward, if you want to say, gets killed in the war, and he's walking by himself trying to put the pieces back together. A bit like a young black boy that we know.
Right. Okay. I checked out a little.
Yeah, I get that. Trust me, I get that. Now, the OCD cop's death scene, it doesn't get any better after that. In fact, it gets even worse. Why don't you tell the people what happens?
Giusto is in the car, and after Gaetano shoots and kills the OCD cop, and he yells to his brother, he's got to take a piss. And so his brother's running with the gun, and he just trips over the fucking curb or some pedal and just shoots himself right in the head. It's just like, honestly, it's tough for me to even say I was shocked. Honestly, like when it happened, I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, well.
Of course.
Yeah, of course this would happen. It's unsatisfying, but it's like we're so used to it by now with this season that it's like, oh yeah, of course, this is what you would do with Gaetano. We don't really have anything interesting to do with this character, so let's just kill him like this. Let's just get him out of it. Let's just get to the nurse scene. I didn't think that nurse scene was going to end up that way when she goes to kill Atharita, because earlier Lemuel says, oh, you can sleep on the couch downstairs or whatever, and the mother says, I keep a shotgun in my room, and
I'm a real light sleeper.
So I assumed as soon as the nurse screamed because of the zombie, I'm thinking, okay, the mom's going to bust in the room and just fucking blow her away with the shotgun, and that's kind of how we're going to end it.
At least Lemuel.
Right, yeah, something. It's so ridiculous and awkward the way that scene plays out of her just screaming and running out and then immediately getting arrested by the cops.
Not only that, we can't figure out how to get her out of the building, so let's just cut, and she's entering her door.
Yeah, well, like I brought up earlier with the reshoots, it just seems cobbled together. And very off. How did you feel about this?
Aside from proving me wrong, I would have loved to have seen a real showdown between the nurse and Ethelrita before Ethelrita became a consigliere, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is what Noah Hawley has done this season. Whatever you think, I'm going to do the exact opposite.
Well, sometimes that works. Sometimes complete exact
Yeah.
opposite. It's like, all right, that's really cool. I didn't see that coming. Here, it's like, I didn't see that coming because it's incredibly stupid.
None of this is clever in any way. And it just kind of saps your energy. I feel so deflated from the show because, the last episode, while I was disappointed by things, I did enjoy it. I
Hmm.
really did enjoy aspects. This entire episode, it was like, I felt like I was in a fucking coma. I was just so bored. It's just tedious. I'm like, how is this ramping up to the end of the show? How is this the penultimate episode? It's just, we've said it a million times before. It's just so poorly laid out this season.
Well, this episode really exemplifies it. Happy, the curse, Zombie Man is a vengeful spirit. I know we keep harping on this, but why wasn't any of this given to us earlier? The season feels like it was structured by throwing darts at storyboards.
I agree. It's just, it doesn't feel like things were really properly laid out and planned.
We said it last week as a joke that he was just pissed off people didn't like Legion. More and more, I'm starting to feel like it's either that or he just lost his touch, or he's like, all right, I need to work. I need to do something. I'll just slap together another season of Fargo.
Yeah, I guess so. I think maybe because ratings weren't that good on Legion.
Maybe.
But the thing about it is that I've looked at the ratings for Fargo this season, and it's the least viewed season of the entire series. That's really damning to me because right now everyone is watching stuff on streaming. You know what I mean? It's just, this is the time to put out content because everyone's looking for something to watch because of, the pandemic and everything. The fact that this is getting the lowest ratings of any of the seasons, it says a lot to me.
Yeah, me as well. I haven't looked into ratings or anything, but I'm not surprised when you tell me that. It also doesn't help that, like we said in like the first episode, the show's gotten progressively worse each season that's come out.
Yeah, it's definitely getting worse, and hopefully this is maybe the last season here.
Sad to say that a show that I really enjoy most of, I'm wishing for it to just die.
It's depressing.
So I guess we should move on from that. And what do you think happens in series finale?
Well, before we get into that, what did you feel about the Chris Rock and Ethel Rita scene at?
Oh, I brought it up moments ago. Embarrassing, frankly. I've never written anything except for like shitty YouTube videos, and I was embarrassed for Noah Hawley.
The whole time I was watching it, I was like, oh man, I was rolling my eyes the whole time. This is what we're building up to. Chris Rock and Ethel Rita and the whole like, oh, I'm going to help you win this war. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, really? This is what we're doing?
Yeah, but you're forgetting one key detail. She knows 2 other languages. All she does is give him a ring. How does that accomplish anything? Josto's going to be like, oh no, it's my dad's ring. I have to give him everything he wants to get it back.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. And I did want to bring this up because I remember in the first episode when his father was in the hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Josto first meets the nurse. He says to the nurse, he goes, I want you to take care of my father. And when we were at the beginning of the season, I thought, oh, he's telling her to kill his dad. That's what I thought, which, obviously isn't true. That's not what he wanted, even though when they had that whole scene in the car and everything, we kind of implied that, he wanted to be the boss and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that part of it? Is there some type of like, that doesn't even really, how does that work?
They're criminals. Are they going to threaten to go to the police? Oh, we have his ring. The nurse killed him because Jason Schwartz asked her to.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I was trying to piece it together, and I'm like, okay, well, we had a scene earlier where that congressman or something comes in and tells Josto the wedding's off. I was like, so is that going to tie into the ring and political shit? Like, I don't really know how this is going to tie into him winning the war. And Chris Rock just like looking at her with the ring and being like, oh yeah, now I understand. It's like, wait, what? How do you understand? Like, what are you going to do? Give the ring to New York or something? Or
I mean, that kind of could work, but why would New York? He's at war with them. He'd have to convince them that Josto did in fact have his father killed. Why does Chris Rock have the ring then?
Yeah, I really don't know. What do you think's gonna happen in the finale?
I'm gonna give you my hopes. I hope the nurse breaks out, kills the entire Smutney family. I hope Gaetano rises from the grave. I swear to God, if they have like a Star Wars style, the dead slaver, the zombie man, Gaetano, Deafy, and OCD cop, like they're standing over, but they look like ghosts, force ghosts. That's what I want to happen. Over Chris Rock's dead body.
Almost sounds like you wanted the show to go just full zombie and everybody to come back from the grave.
Well, I mean, it certainly would. It'd be a satisfactory ending for me, you betcha.
That'd be interesting if all of a sudden it became like Dawn of the Dead, where everybody is in like the mortuary, like Chris Rock and Ethel Rita and everybody, and all the zombies are just attacking the mortuary.
Brains.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious that the aunt is going to play a major role in what happens.
Well, you say that, but I don't think we see her once during this episode or the last one. But yeah, I see that
Right.
happening as well.
She has to be in the episode. Now, ultimately, I think she's going to attempt to kill Chris Rock. I don't think she's going to succeed. I think she's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to say. And I don't know why I'm getting this vibe, but I feel like because they brought up the whole curse and everything, and I might be taking a long shot here.
I think I might be thinking exactly what you're thinking, but please continue.
I think the zombie curse thing, I think somehow Chris Rock is going to like drown and the zombie guy is going to be like holding him in the water and that's going to lift the curse on the family.
Like the devil's backbone?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we were not thinking the exact same thing. Based on what you were saying, I think it'd be much juicier. Zelmir goes to kill Chris Rock. She shoots, she fires. Oh no, little Ethelrita was in the way, and she's dead.
Oh, she kills her niece. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that would be a nice touch. Yeah, that would be shocking for sure.
That's why I think it might happen. That's really the only goal of Mr. Hawley at this point, I'd surmise. But nothing really shocking happened this episode, did it?
Well, Gaetano, I guess, blown his brains out. I guess that's
Yeah.
shocking. But I mean, the show is so incompetent at filming action that I guess having him just fall and blows on fucking brains out is probably for the best.
Yes.
Like, peace, I'm out. Story's over.
Fuck this shit. There's no Hawley couldn't write himself out of a wet paper bag with scissors in his hands.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen with Chris Rock or not. I almost have a fear that he's just going to live and not die at all, which would be worse. But
Yes, I concur.
where he's just like smiling and I don't know. But and even Josto, like I don't really know what's going to happen to Josto.
I am at a loss as well. I mean, I would imagine he dies, but my imagination isn't quite up to task when it comes to this series.
Satchel, what's going to happen with him? He's just going to go back to his dad and the family. And
do you think Satchel walks back to Missouri, kills Josto, and then reunites with his father?
why would he kill Josto?
Well, he had his best friend Rabbi Milligan killed.
But he doesn't really know that.
Yeah, but I
Right.
mean, he knew who Calamita was. He knew Josto ran Calamita. Do you think maybe he might kill his own father? He said, "This world is mine. I'm going to take what I want." But I don't know.
Satchel killing his own dad. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that's a long shot. It could happen, but I don't know. I just don't see I don't really see the point in that. Like, what does Satchel get out of that? Like, is he so psychologically traumatized that he needs to kill his dad now? I don't know.
I don't see it happening either, but when it comes to the show, especially after this episode, I'm racking my brain thinking about all possibilities, you know?
Yeah, yeah, you got to look at different angles. And the nurse, it. I mean, I don't really see what you can do with her. Like, I mean, you said, you brought up her escaping. I just don't see that being possible.
I don't either.
It's just, especially with Dr. Harvard waking up, and I feel like her story is like over.
She gave me malicious macaroons, which sucks. I mean, why didn't they just hold off until the next episode? You could have even opened up with her just being arrested. It would have killed a lot of tension between her and Ethelrita, but at least we'd be wondering
Yeah.
after today, ooh, what's that nurse gonna do?
I brought it before. It's not going to be a satisfying ending. There's really nothing that they can do to really make a satisfying ending for me, because it's just everyone's dead that I even gave a shit about. So I just don't really care.
The nurse could come out of my screen and give me the greatest BJ ever, and I would still be unsatisfied.
Oh, man. Is there anything else you want to add? Or?
Thank God it's only one more episode. Let's just hope it's not 2 hours long, though.
No, I think it's only like 51 minutes. I looked.
Thank God, because everybody we care about's dead. They're just going to introduce two more Italians and 2 more black guys to chew the fat this next episode.
Yeah, I mean, at this rate, who knows? Maybe they'll introduce another 7 new characters.
All right, everybody. Another disappointing episode of Fargo. Noah Hawley, if you could feel shame on top of the stacks of money you sleep on, you should. Over and out.